And we're live here on YouTube, like to welcome those listening in podcast land, and also my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. It seems a little early, but at the same time, it's probably not. But, yeah, ready for tonight. But also looking forward to having a nice day with the missus, as we're going to do a couple of things for her birthday.
Yeah.
It was on Tuesday, and we were kind of busy the weekend before. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go get pampered for a little bit, get our toes done, sit in the massage chairs, and then have a nice lunch together. So before coming home for the evening. Mike, how was your week? Did the Pioneers win last night, Mike?
So we did win. This week has been crazy. It's senior week. I didn't find out until Monday that there's a group that had been doing. We do what's called a senior walk, which is a great thing. I don't know if you've seen what these look like, but it's essentially at the last home game of the regular season. The seniors of the football team walk from end zone to end zone, and leave their helmets on there, and then walk back. And it's kind of to say,
are the parents with them as well? Because I think
no. So they do. They do
a different thing.
That's a different part of it. They do senior night where they do that at the front, and everybody's there for that. But then at the end of the show, or then at the end of the game, they do that walk. And when they do that walk, there's a video that goes with it. And so there's that. There's a group that was doing the videos on it, or that has done the videos ever since I've taken over video stuff. But this one was the seniors putting it. It had been the seniors putting it together, the football players putting it together for the seniors.
Cool.
Except this year they didn't. And so I had to do it, and I didn't find out until Monday, so I didn't get stuff started. So it was throwing things together. It looked great. Everybody really did love it. I think it went really well, but it was a crazy night. So.
Gotcha. So that's kind of cool, though. I don't recall them doing something like that. I mean, admittedly, I've not been to a high school football game since I was in high school. So I don't recall them doing that on a senior night, and I think the thing with the parents coming along with them, I think that was more done around like maybe a homecoming. So, that was when they announced like the homecoming court was the parents were with them to announce the homecoming courts.
So homecoming, they do that for homecoming, but then they did senior night where the parents walk out and they announce the seniors. That happens too. So I had to make all of the videos for all of the seniors in all of the fall sports.
Wow. All right. Cool. Well, it sounds like you did a great job on that, and it's over from a work standpoint. At least it's over, and you got maybe one or two more football.
So we're guaranteed at least one more home football game at this point. Like we're guaranteed one home football game. So we'll see how next week we face the #1 team in the state. So.
Oof.
But I believe after this week's rankings, we'll be #2 in the state.
For your class.
For 2A. So.
All right.
With that, Rich, we got a bit of a show to talk about. We have NASCAR corner, we made left and rights this week, which means only one name needs to be discussed. We also have some baseball to catch up on with playoffs. And Rich, what else are we talking about this week?
Well, Mike, we got to do our we got to fill our obligation to the NBA to talk about them 1 or 2 times a year.
Yep.
Amongst the year. We got to give you some preseason picks for that, as well as a recap and preview the NFL. Mike, all that more. What do we got to do first?
We're going to go ahead and roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
Oh, and we're back. Oh, that went quicker than I thought.
Yeah, it seems to always do, but it's always a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Well, Mike,
I don't hear it either, by the way. I don't hear it either, because if I heard it, then it would be like double time. Because like the reason that you hear yourself is because I go through the soundboard, which makes things sound better, especially me. But because of that, if I were to make it so I could hear the show or hear the intro, I would be everybody would hear it a second time with a slight delay.
Gotcha.
So,
well, Mike, this is normally the point of the show where we do talk about our poll question.
yeah,
But Mike, I forgot to post it.
that's okay. That happens. No big deal. Nobody's worried about it.
I know nobody's worried about it, but so
we took a week off. That's okay.
But I did rectify. I did schedule it this time instead of saying, "Oh, I'll post it later on today or tomorrow." So it is scheduled to go live at 9:30 a.m. and which we should be done by then, well before then. So make sure to watch for that poll question to go live on Fans of Balls and Sticks. And usually between Mike and I, we usually share it to our pages as well. This week's poll question will be tailgating versus jumping in to a pile of leaves.
It's a good one.
All right, Mike, do you
That's a
see
good
what's
one.
coming up next?
Is it a left turn, Rich?
It is a left-hand turn. What's after that?
It's another left-hand turn, and why is that, Rich?
Well, Mike, because we're going to go into the NASCAR Corner. The NASCAR Corner is presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Avenue. And you can also find them on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Mike, last week we were at Charlotte Motor Speedway for your favorite layout, the Roval, presented by Bank of America. Mike, how did our drivers do?
Rich, sorry, I was working on something else. Christopher Bell and Joey Logano. Christopher Bell did pretty good. He got a 3rd place finish. Joey Logano, he finished 20th, but, that happens. And then Kyle Busch finished 35th. Not too good. But Shane Van Gisbergen wins it all, giving me 2 points, making it 22-20.
Yes. So, we won't go into another rant of how you don't like the Roval,
Nope.
because it's NASCAR's home track. That's the home track of NASCAR. So why are you turning it into a road course? Why are you trying to configure a road course into it? But I guess I thought it was some good racing. There were some times where I thought Christopher Bell was going to pull it off and win the race, but Shane Van Gisbergen fought back and won by a pretty wide margin.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see, and I didn't get to watch the race. I don't even remember what I was doing.
You apple picking. You said you were going to go back to the apple.
No, we ended up not doing that. Oh, we were making applesauce, so we decided that we didn't notice Okay, I'm gonna say something. I know that they probably aren't watching. I love the apple orchard. Their apples taste better, but when I put it in the applesauce that we make, my grandma's. So we use my grandma's recipe. I think I've told the story.
Yeah.
She forgot. She doesn't remember how to make it anymore. So we're the proprietors of it. We are the ones that know how to make it. We make it pretty decently. But there's so much cinnamon in it. It has 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. It's a very cinnamony applesauce. It's delicious. I love it. But because of that, the apples take kind of a back seat. And so, is it really worth it to put the apples that we get at a significantly higher rate rather than the apples that are, we could buy at Walmart or for a third of the price?
That's fair.
We support them. We will go back there. We love going there. We love the people. We love the food. We love the apples. We love the time. It's great. But is it really worth it for the applesauce that we're making? And I don't know that it is.
Okay, that's fair.
So.
All right, Mike. So this week they're going out to the West Coast, and they'll be in Las Vegas for the South Point Casino 400.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm gonna have to take my preseason pick to win and go with William Byron, as I like his chances here. I think this is his best chance to win with a super speedway in Talladega as the second race of this round, followed by Martinsville, which is unpredictable as the short track. So I'm gonna go Willie B.
I like that pick. I'm gonna go with another guy in the playoffs that is pretty good at these types of tracks. I'm gonna go with Kyle Larson.
All right, I like Kyle Larson. He was before we started talking. That was my original pick today. But I haven't picked William Byron yet in the playoff rounds, and I felt that this was the one race where I felt comfortable picking him. Mike, who are you picking for your non-playoff driver?
I am going to use one of my favorite dirty strategies of them all. I'm going to pick your favorite driver so you cannot cheer against him, Ross Chastain.
All right. Yeah, you did take my driver. I was going to go with Ross this one. So I'll go with his teammate, Daniel Suarez.
Okay.
So Suarez needs to have a good finish so that he can prove that he's worth a ride next year with somebody, since he's a free agent.
Yep.
And, the last 2 Vegas races, he's finished in the top 5. So I feel good about it, even taking out the factor that he needs to have a good finish to get a ride, to secure a ride next year.
Yeah.
So you can catch that race over on the USA Network. I believe it's like a 2 o'clock start, 2 or 3 o'clock start.
Yeah.
So Mike, go ahead and take us. Anything else? You were saying that there was an
Yeah.
update with
So there is updates. Yes, we have to go into NASCAR real quick. Early this week, the NASCAR officials essentially said, "Hey, Judge, we want to get a settlement done. We want to get a settlement done, but we don't think this arbiter knows what he's like. We want a judge to know if it goes to a jury, what the outcome. We want to have a judge. We want a real expert at what a court case is going to cost." And the judge is like, "Well, this arbiter does a great job. I'm not going to take it away from him. But what I will do is I will sit in on these negotiations, and we can see what needs to happen." So that's where we're at.
So we could be getting a little bit closer to some clarity on what's going to happen the 2311 in Front Row Motorsports.
Yeah. So the big thing right now is that neither NASCAR especially, but neither team really wants to go to what's it called? To court. Because as soon as they hit court, everything gets made public. There's stuff that's leaked, and that stuff's been bad, but obviously the teams are not leaking the worst of the worst because they want to make sure, we want to make sure we're doing okay. But then they want to make sure they're not going to be screwed when it comes to, like, they still have things to pull out if they end up having to go to court. And NASCAR's doing the same thing. So the leaks are kind of minimal, but the when they go to court, all of it comes out. We will see everything. And so neither side really wants that all the way, because they're afraid of what that's going to look like. But
yeah, I mean, if this goes to court, could you have more teams saying how they really feel about the agreement that?
So we didn't cover it
Front
last
Row
week.
And Jordan is bringing against NASCAR, saying, well, we signed it, but we really didn't like it either, and here's why.
So last week, NASCAR asked teams to put out a what's
Statement?
that? To put out statements, declarations and statements on their as the teams, and a lot of the teams did. And the thing that scared NASCAR is, and I think this is where it comes from, is that a lot of the teams in their declaration said, yeah, we understand this, but there are things that we would like so much more, and we actually, like, a lot of them, they stayed fairly neutral, but a lot of them gave a little bit more credence to what the teams are arguing for. So NASCAR, I think, is getting scared.
Yeah, exactly. I could have swore I saw Joe Gibbs Racing's response of saying, we're not going to testify in court. I thought his statement stayed pretty neutral.
His did, but like Richard Childress,
to...
but he didn't want to testify in court. They don't want it to go to court. But what the argument, their statement was, I mean, yeah, we were essentially forced into this. That was what really was getting things a little crazy on that. So the teams, a lot of the teams were saying, yeah, we agree, but like we signed it, but it's not great, and there's better things that we should, like, there's things that should be doing. And I think the biggest sticking point right now, and I totally agree with this, what it seems like the biggest sticking point is, Rich, how long are these, the problem is that these are only 6, I think it's 6 year, 6 year, what's it called?
Charters?
Yeah, the charters are only like 6 or 8 years. They're not permanent. And the teams are like, well, let's make these permanent. If we make these permanent, I think if NASCAR tomorrow said, well, yeah, we'll make them permanent, immediately 2311 will sign. That seems like the biggest thing that they're trying to fight for. And I think if that happens,
they're permanent unless we choose to sell them,
right,
to an upstart, to a new team or to an existing team that would like to field 3 full-time rides, or loan them. I think, isn't that a thing where you can loan a charter to somebody else that might want to run 3 cars instead of 2?
It's essentially renting, but yes. Yeah, you can rent your charters out. You can sell your charters. They're yours. You do with them what you want. And that's kind of what the team's argument is we own these. Why? We legitimately own these. Like, you can't say we own these and then tell us, well, if we don't, if we don't own them, then why? So, yeah, I agree with the teams that they should be permanent.
Well, aren't they trying to dictate the number of full-time charters an individual team can have too?
There's some of that in there too, which that's fine. Like I don't think there's a problem. I don't think they have a problem with that. I think the problem is why do we not own these rights? Why do we not own these? These should just be permanently owned. Like that's the big thing, and I think that's kind of what the teams are arguing for, and I think most people agree with it actually. So I'm all good with it.
All right. Anything else? Anything else NASCAR wise to talk about, Mike?
So we're in that season where we're gonna start seeing teams and all that stuff, like teams starting to come together and offers being made. So we're in that exciting part of the year. Nothing, but surprisingly, nothing's been done yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you are correct. This is normally that time of year where you hear about a driver announcing that I'm going to be moving over to this team next year.
Yep.
I mean, right now, the only thing that we know right now is that Connor Zilic will be coming up from Xfinity to take over for Ross Chastain's seat. That's it.
Yep.
But I think a lot of this stuff that there's still a lot. And maybe this is being delayed because of what's going on with Front Row and 23. Because if they hold firm to saying nope, those are our charters, NASCAR could turn around and sell those charters to teams that want to expand. And then you've got four drivers. You got four drivers that don't have chartered rides.
Yeah. And one of which
has rides. So those two teams could fold up shop and say, well, if I don't have if we don't have charters, then it's too much of a financial burden on us, so we can't field teams.
Well, and two of them that are, or one driver that is like legally obligated to have a charter. So, yeah, it's crazy. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that gets taken care of soon. So with that, Rich, go ahead and take us out.
I brought us in, so I'll let you take it out.
This has been the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by III Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs in Moline on 5th Avenue or on their eBay store. Once again, this is III Sports Cards Incorporated. Rich, let's keep making left turns as we got to talk about baseball.
That's right. So, Mike, before we talk about the Cubbies, let's at least throw a quick tidbit in there about the American League Championship Series.
Yeah.
It'll be the Mariners and the Blue Jays, as the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees were dispatched this week. That series is going to start Sunday night on Fox. So I guess Fox is okay competing against the NFL, but TBS isn't. So anywho,
so here's the. I think I have some thoughts on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about that in a minute. But I have some actual thoughts on that one.
So I don't know, but you put the Mariners into the World Series as the team that was going to. I think you had them losing, but and interestingly enough, we were down at my nephew's baseball game 2 weeks ago, and where my Cubs at, and somebody walked by me. It was like Cubs Blue Jays World Series. Just wait for it.
I think it'd be a great World Series.
So I like the World Series matchup for chances for either of these teams. The Mariners have never won the World Series. It's been 31 years, Mike, since the Jays won it.
Yep.
So there's some good historical precedents for either of these American League teams to win it. Should be a good matchup. So, Mike, what's your thoughts on this on the Fox schedule? I know I kind of gave a little bit of a rant last week of why are you starting a Central Time? Why are you starting a game at 8:00 at night in the Central Time Zone?
Yeah, no, and I still think that's ridiculous.
You had a game in the West Coast that started in the middle of the afternoon.
But where is the other team from?
The other team is on
Eastern time zone.
the Eastern time.
The Phillies are on Eastern time, so there's that. But my bigger, and this is my bigger one for the whole thing. This is related to the whole thing. What sports does Fox have?
Fox also has the NFL.
And they have NASCAR, and they have...
Well, they only have NASCAR half of the year.
That's fine. That's fine that they only have it half the year. I'm just saying, like, they are... NASCAR... Or Fox has lots of sports stuff. Fox... So, Fox isn't super terrible about... Isn't super upset about the fact that, hey, we're going to compete against this or that. TBS, TNT, those guys have essentially two things. And this is all of the baseball that they get.
No, I believe they have a regular season. They have one game a year. They have one game a week where it's like a Sunday afternoon, like, or game of the week for them, where they get exclusive rights to the game. But I guess one advantage that Fox does have is that they can use the entire NFL slate to push coming up after the game.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the American League Division Series.
Yep.
I'm sure that they would have rather marketed it with the New York Yankees or the Boston Red Sox, but you get two really, you're still getting the top two playoff seeds for it. So, but I mean, my thing last week, I guess it was that you wanted to air a Marvel movie, or I think they aired Rush Hour 2 instead of putting a baseball game on TBS, but they were going up against the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL. Saturday afternoon average, but I still think that, I mean, baseball is a regional game that is, I think, as long as the regional games, so as long as you weren't going up against the Packers or Bears, you were probably going to get those viewers to come over to the Cubs game and go over to your playoff game where your allegiances aren't divided by the Packers or the Bears game being on at the same time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think there's, I don't know. I think that I get it. They don't get. I get why TBS wants it, and again, I would say that the bigger thing is that they don't want to compete against themselves, and they want to milk everything they can out of it, and that's where they are, and that's what they're doing, and I'm okay with it. That's what they want. Now, does it mean that I was up till like 11 o'clock at night? 2 days this week just watching that game, and then I naturally just throw I'll put a YouTube video on, and then all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying as far as the East Coast team, the team that they were playing was in East Coast, so yeah, so for them, in the Phillies time zone, it started at 5, but for a Dodger fan, the game started at 3 o'clock, so that stadium wasn't as full. So for the local market, they didn't play to the local market of the home team, with starting that game out in the West Coast at 3 o'clock. Normally networks flip it to where they start the game, they dictate the game time off of the home market, not the road market, which is kind of what I found odd.
So speaking of the Phillies Dodgers, we did discuss that the Phillies lost that series, so the Dodgers are just sitting and waiting for us. But more importantly, and this is where this is actually what I wanted to ask, what do you do with that almost implosion overall, but also the way that Phillies had and it's been, I've seen the error that happened at the end of that game, allowing the Dodgers to end up winning game 4 or game 3. I don't remember, whichever game it was.
Yeah,
it didn't take them out, but it put it right at the cusp, and then losing all of it.
Honestly, Mike, I didn't watch any of this series. A lot of the times it was we were watching something else before the Cubs game came on, and then once it came time for that series to come on, I started the game on TNT because there was a little bit of an overlap. So being in my wife enjoys watching baseball, but she's not going to watch baseball all night, especially two teams that we really don't care about winning. So I didn't watch any of the Dodgers series. I had no interest in it. So I only watched maybe the end of games while I was waiting for the Cubs games to go on and hoping that it didn't go to extra innings, since there was only one network that the game was aired on. So
it was so rough. Like and on top of it, I've had, my terrible sleep schedule in general that my work schedule has been super busy. Sorry, my work schedule has been super busy. So I'm going to work super exhausted because I was up till 1 or 2 in the morning each night. And then I have to be at work where I'm doing, I've been super busy. So it's just been, if it wasn't for what I had going on today, I would probably just sleep all day, and I don't care.
All right, Mike. So let's get into our wheelhouse. Cubs, Brewers.
Yeah.
You said the Cubs in 5. I said the Cubs in 4. We're currently going into that game 5.
Yeah.
Home cooking is what we needed. But the other thing you got to point out, Mike, and even Craig Counsell has acknowledged it, is that we're only scoring runs in the first inning. And then we're holding teams. We had a little bit of a breakthrough game 4 when we scored some runs in the 6th and 7th inning, getting some insurance runs there. But even Counsell, I think I remembered hearing a soundbite when I was driving home on 670 to score, saying that Counsell was just going to tell everyone, "Hey, it's the first inning. It's the first inning. Let's go out and get some runs."
Yeah,
first inning. Every inning's the first inning.
Yeah. So there's a couple things with that, and I'll go with it. One, did it feel like watching that game that this is the Cubs team that was the first half?
Thursday night, yeah.
Thursday night looked like, and maybe that's what we're going to start seeing. Maybe they woke up and they got back into first. Hopefully, they got back into the beginning of the season form, and they're looking better and they're doing better. So,
all right, going into Game 5, is more pressure on Pat Murphy and the Brewers or Counsell and the Cubs? Because you had a Brewers team that looked so dominant in games 1 and 2, and then they come on the road and they've looked like a totally different team.
Yeah, I think that it's the Craig Counsell.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I think it's the Cubs, but at the same time, the Cubs weren't expected to be this good. People thought mid-season that this was the team, and so maybe but legitimately, no. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna say the Brewers. It's on the Brewers, because the Brewers, at this point, are expected to be the number 1 team, period, bar none. They are the greatest of all time. They're the hottest team right now, and if that's what you're doing as a hot team, you should be expected to win. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got to put the pressure more on Pat Murphy too. This team, they 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 just dominated games 1 and 2. Dominated. And then the script flipped at home, which can happen some days.
Yeah.
Which can happen sometimes. So will the Brewer faithful come out and give them will the home field be the difference maker in the series? I think it could. But hopefully it turns around and the Cubs can keep the momentum going and can get a win up in Milwaukee. The Brewers did enact, I saw a post that got thrown out that you have to have a Wisconsin mailing address to be able to buy tickets for that Game 5 game. They are not going to open it up to... They're not going to open up the available tickets to anybody outside Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, that's right in the way that that's right in line with things that they've been doing for years. Like, it's hard because 90 miles north of Chicago is the stadium. They're 90 miles apart. But if you go 90 miles south, you're still in the Chicago area.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree that you could. Yeah, I don't know if you call Rockford part of Chicagoland, but Rockford is kind of like right in the middle of Milwaukee and Chicago. So you're going to say somebody that lives right on the border, but by zip code or by state at home address, they're a Brewers fan. They're a Brewers fan, but they live in the state of Illinois. You're going to bar that person from buying tickets
yeah.
to this game because you only want people with a Wisconsin address to get it.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, like, essentially, Milwaukee is a suburb of Chicago.
I don't know if I go that far to say that Milwaukee is a suburb of Chicago, but they're probably just as much. I think it would be fair to assume there are probably just as much Cub fans within the bubble of Milwaukee than there are as Brewers fans, though, too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But man, I don't know. It's interesting, and anytime you go to Milwaukee, I mean, we've talked about it. It is normally more of a home game for Chicago than it is for Milwaukee.
Well, no, it has started getting to tip the scales more in Milwaukee as they've gotten better, as they've gotten consistently winning ball clubs, as opposed to when they first moved to the National League.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with them limiting ticket sales to Wisconsin residents, or within a window where your zip code has to be X amount of miles within the city limits of Milwaukee, or else they're going to error out and not allow you to purchase tickets from the actual website, from them directly.
Yep.
But there's always bus trips. Bus trips happen. Bus trips get scheduled to come in, and as well as just the secondary market.
Yeah.
So there's always the unofficial posts of, look, keep Milwaukee, keep it Brewers, and they're encouraging fans that have tickets to not sell them on the secondary market.
Yep.
All right, Mike. Final thing to talk about for game number 5. Who do you put on the bump tonight for the elimination game? As going on air, even during our pre-show, neither team has announced a starter yet.
Yeah, this I think is one of the biggest things that, man, this is one of the hardest arguments to have.
As of now, I think the only two pitchers that you probably won't see in this game are the starting pitchers that both teams threw out there on Thursday night, which is Freddie Peralta and Matt Boyd.
Right.
Since they'd only be on 2 days of rest. Maybe this would be their third day.
So I think you do. I mean, everybody's available, right? Like, doesn't matter if whoever you put out. Like, let's say you put out So I think so. I'll start with mine. We've seen that it works. Let's get a starter. And part of me is like, I don't want to use it, but part of me thinks you kind of got to. And if you're going to use a starter, use the best starter that you have. It's the scariest thing because he's also our best reliever. Kittredge starts out, gets an inning or two, and then in comes Shota. So have Shota Imanaga. He's coming out the bat. That also have Tyone. Just tell him, bro, you be ready in the second inning. Because if something goes sideways for Shota, you're up. If something goes sideways in any way, shape, or form, you got to be ready to go. So you essentially just tell both of them they're up. And I'll let you know when you're going to be up. And they both have to get ready and they have to do all their stuff. And because, Rich, if in the middle of that inning, in the middle of the fifth inning, let's say Shota comes in the third, he goes 3-4, and in the fifth, bases loaded, no outs, Shota is not finding the strike zone. Mm-hmm. You got to have you got to put somebody in. Or let's say in the third inning, when Shota comes in, he doesn't find the strike zone at all. He's only done. He's only put up balls. He's not gotten a single strike. You got to have somebody ready to go. So then you immediately put in Tyone. And hopefully Tyone can take you 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's my take on it. Everybody's ready. I think you start it with a close or with an opener, and then after your opener you hit you get Imanaga right away, right in there, and then immediately after Imanaga you go. So that's how I do it.
Okay, so I do gotta poke a hole in your argument of, well, we saw it worked, but we did that in Game 2 against San Diego.
Yeah.
Kittredge allowed a run in his opener inning, and when Imanaga came in, he allowed the 3-run homer because Counsell went with his gut instead of looking at the data. Yeah. And allowed him to face Manny Machado, even though you had Coomer on the call saying, if somebody gets on and Machado's up the bat with a runner on, they need to take Imanaga out. They left him in. Yeah. And he hits the 3-run homer. He hits the 3-run homer that pretty much ended that game. So I'm going to go a different route, and I'm going to hope that they go with Colin Ray. The guy hasn't pitched at all in this series. He's been in the bullpen. He started for you. Him being a guy that's started the year as the long reliever, but got forced into the starting rotation with Justin Steele out. So I go Colin Ray, and then maybe try it, and then use Andrew Savali, who came in and righted the ship and kept the game close in game number 1 after Boyd and Soroka couldn't get guys out. So you got those guys in. I go with those two to hopefully some combination of Ray and Savali to get you to the 5th inning, or maybe even the 4th inning. Okay,
I can totally go with that. That makes.
And then piece it together the rest of the way. The other option that I've seen is Ben Brown, because he has a 1-point ERA against the Brewers, and I think he pitched a clean a clean inning in that game 1-2. They kept it close, but the Cubs just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
So maybe you throw Ben Brown in and tell him that he's going to be tasked with getting a couple innings.
I will still argue everybody has to be available today,
except Matt Boyd. Boyd's going on 2 days rest, and we saw how well he did on a 3 days rest starting.
Yeah.
I think Boyd's the only guy that you can't confidently call on. He's the only guy that's going to have the bullpen jacket on the entire game. And probably gets to be in the dugout. I think every other starting pitcher that could start, like Tejon or Shota, probably goes down to the bullpen. And is warming up off and on throughout the game, doing their normal bullpen routines during the game instead of before the game, playing long toss, staying loose so that if they get called, they start warming up.
Yeah, I can go with that.
They're ready and mentally ready. So I'm looking forward to the game. But the Brewers not announcing a starter, they're using their ace in game number 4. At least we don't have to face him on home field advantage. So it's looking like they could go with a bullpen game as well.
I would also say, though, the scary part is how good has this team, how good has the Brewers bullpen been?
Yeah, they've kept things together. I mean, that would make it that it is important to get those early runs, which the Cubs have been getting in this series. It's just that so have the Brewers in some cases. So
yeah,
so get to that opener early, because if you get into the bullpen with Mizorowski, or their one inning guys that just come in throwing gas, because they know they only got to go 1 inning.
Yep.
Things could get dicey.
Yep.
So, but I mean, the other thing with I'll close with this. You gotta love the Wrigley Field home crowd on that Thursday.
I honestly
ready.
Honestly,
throughout the entire game that he was pitching.
The home field like that Wrigley game, all 3 games or both those games in Chicago were great. But yes, I would agree that Freddie chant and I don't know that I've seen a pitcher really ever that break his focus as much as it broke Freddie. That was unbelievable, and it worked, and it was great. So, okay, game 5 tonight, 7:00, TBS. Check it out. Be ready for it. Tomorrow, Mariners, Blue Jays, Fox. One last thing I want to say before we go off of baseball. This is my last comment. So you were talking about the crowd, but one of the things they talked about is how cold it is in Chicago at 58 degrees on a last week, and I'm like,
that's not cold. That's a cool fall day.
Yeah,
that's a comfortable fall day.
I was saying to Danielle, man, look at this. If they win tonight, if they win the game tonight, which was Thursday, and then they win again on Saturday, they will be an entire week. So they don't get back to Chicago until Thursday this upcoming week.
Yes, because the NLCS will be a Monday, Tuesday in LA.
Yeah. It'll
Monday,
start
Tuesday in LA.
if it's Chicago.
Game 3 doesn't come until Thursday in Chicago.
Right. So it'll be a week. How much do we're in October, and we're in mid-October already. That week is huge for temperature drop. We could see start time temperatures in the 40s by then. And then they play 3 games. And then, essentially, it'll be, if they win again, it'll be another week or more, depending on if it goes 7 games If both games go 7 games, it'll be a week and a half. So we're talking 2 to 3 weeks after a 50-degree cold game. We could be in the 30s.
I don't know if it'd quite be in the 30s, but you'd be.
It's
lucky
that
to be
first
in the
week in November. It's that first week in November, Rich. It will be the first week in November. You could have, maybe not start time, but by the time the game's over at 11 o'clock at night, it could be. It could be as cold as 50 degrees out, or 30 degrees out. In the mid-30s. I'm just saying, this is why I love cold. This is actually why I prefer cold weather cities that don't have domes to be in the World Series. Because that makes it that, and I understand there are those that will argue, well, it's a completely different game than what we do in the rest of the season and all that. Yeah, well, that's okay.
Oh, will the roof be open or closed for tonight's game in Milwaukee?
Closed.
Okay.
They don't want. Yeah. Rich, they keep it closed in April half the time because it's too cold out. They're not going to open it on a. It'll be closed.
I don't know. I know game one they had it open, but I think they had the windows closed. The outfield windows closed.
Yeah.
But they had the roof open.
Yeah. I would say it's going to be closed, but okay, Rich. With that, let's head to the gridiron as we have at 51 minutes.
All right, so be a quick going through. No power rankings this week. So Mike, lock of the week, Mike. You went with the Lions over the Bengals. The Bengals showed some fight. They actually put some points on the board, but not enough to win as the Lions won 37-24.
Yep.
You're still undefeated on locks of the week. My pick of the Bills over the Patriots did not come through as it was 23-20 Patriots. A close division game, dropping me to 3-2. Mike, upset specials.
Upset specials, Rich. I cooked up the Saints over the Giants. Pulled that one off. Shocked you a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that was that makes me 4-1 on the season. Rich, you have yet to get an upset correct, as you picked the Seahawks over the Buccaneers. The Bucs pulled it off 38-35. You are still 0-5 on the season. Thursday Night Football, we saw the Eagles and Giants play. We both picked the Eagles, as did 99% of the country. And yet, the Giants pulled it off 34-17, a massive win. Really, part of me is glad that we're not doing power rankings this week, because I would have had the Giants, or I would have had the Eagles even. Yes, they lost, but whatever. They lost. One loss. No, they have now.
Well, in theory, Mike, your rankings would not have reflected the outcome of Thursday night's game.
Right. I would have wanted to change that after that loss, because of how bad, that bad of a loss to that bad of a team.
Yeah. So, Mike, you are 2-5 on the midweek games. I am 4-3.
Okay.
All right, Mike. Week number 6. It's an even week, so I'll be making my picks first. We'll start with the Bears and Commanders on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have the 2 TVs going if the Cubs win. To have the Bears game on one TV, the Cubs game on another.
I mean, I have 2 TVs up. Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
By the way,
I might be doing split. I don't know if I want to do split screen with YouTube TV to put both games on at the same time.
By the way, that will also be the Cubs on the big screen and the Bears on the little screen.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Bears Commanders in Landover, Maryland. Who's your pick, Mike?
Bears.
Okay. Yep, I agree. I like the Bears. I like the Bears too. They're coming off a bye week, so they'll be fresh. They'll be rested.
And an extra day off the bye week.
And an extra.
An 8-day bye week. So,
All right.
Locks of the week, Rich. Who you going with?
Well, Mike, I got to try and get back on track with my locks, so I'm going to have to take the only 0-5 team, as I'm going to go with the Broncos over the Jets in London. I mean, the Jets, I think, before I was giving them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, saying, you know what, they lost some close games.
Yep.
And that was reflected in my power rankings. You know, they were close losses. They still haven't won, but at least they were close losses. They couldn't get over the hump. They're still not over the hump. So the Broncos are playing good D. Justin Fields doesn't take care of the ball very well, so I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Okay. I am going to pick the Rams over the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. Without Lamar, that team is nothing. I'm surprised that you didn't take that, but I will.
I thought about it, but the Rams are going out to Baltimore, so it's a little bit colder there. And the Rams don't play as well on the road. But I do like the pick. I originally had that as my lock, but I went with a safer one, in my opinion, going to the neutral site Jets. Upset of the week, I have no confidence in this pick, but I really didn't see a lot of upsets that were good on the schedule. So I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns play some good defense. Their offense looked a little bit more competent with the rookie Dylan Gabriel under center. So I'm going to say the Browns defense gives Aaron some trouble.
Okay, I don't mind that pick, mostly because I don't like Aaron. But I'm going to pick the Dolphins over the Chargers.
Okay.
I think that's a good one. With that, Rich, Thursday night, we see the Steelers and the Bengals. You hate the Steelers, so you're going to pick the Bengals?
Man, I'm flipping it to the Steelers.
Oh, okay.
So on the app, I might flip it. But for our show predictions, I'm going to go with the Steelers.
That's okay. I'm going with the Bengals.
Because I like Joe Flacco better than Jake Browning, but do you trust a 42, 41-year-old quarterback behind that Bengals offensive line?
Do you trust a 42-year-old quarterback in the Steelers, a team that you hate?
I don't. I don't know.
I didn't mean to actually do 6'7". That's not what I was doing, by the way.
That's 6'7"?
Yeah.
7?
6'7". Yes.
I don't know that one. I don't know.
You don't work with kids, and it's stupid brain rot that needs to be just thrown away. Anyway, with that, Rich, let's make quick. All we're going to do is pick our finals for the NBA. Rich, I'm going to go with a formula that I've used for years, and I'm going to pick the Thunder over the Cavs. That's just what I'm going to do.
All right. I'm going to go with the Thunder over the Knicks. We don't watch NBA basketball. We just don't. It's probably not gonna. I
think I'm gonna try to go to a game this year.
You might go to a Wolves game?
I might go to a Wolves game this year. So we'll see. Stay tuned for that. We don't watch it enough. I would like to watch it a little bit more, but okay, real quick. Esports 1. We did really well in the first round. Second round, we struggled a little bit, but still pulled it off. So we won our in 2 sets, straight sets. So there is some hope for state still, but we'll see. And then I was realizing we played our first 3 weeks of the season were against at least 2 of the top 2 teams in the state in our division or our class. So yeah, I'm not super worried about it. Also, Rich, you'll notice that I have turned that into a link. Explore Okoboji now has a esports scoreboard that they are putting up every week, which is awesome. I'm loving it.
Cool. So I will make sure to keep that in the outline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, I know we'll put the UFL team locations. We got some new updates on the UFL league. We'll kind of kick that can down the road next week. As well as, you know what, we'll wait on Banana Ball as well as the,
that is so exciting.
As the Savannah Bananas and as they've announced their 2026 schedule. Oh yeah. They've announced their 2026 schedule. They're up to 8 teams. They're up to 8 teams now.
Yep.
Yeah, they're up to.
And 3 games we might go to.
Yeah, they're up to 6 teams now. Yeah, and they're coming to our. They're making 3 stops within driving distance to us this year.
And 1 I might be in the area for.
All right.
So.
All right, Mike. So, but I know that we're up against a time frame because you got places to go.
Yep.
I got to get cleaned up and ready for my day. My day with my wife, which leads to one of my shout outs to happy birthday to my beautiful wife Amy. So we're looking forward to getting together to celebrate with you and just go out and have some fun together today.
Yeah, have a good day. Pamper yourselves, enjoy it, have a get to relax a little bit, then fall asleep watching the Cubs game. So happy birthday, Amy. I'm going to second that. That's pretty much all I have for the week. So, Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, let's go ahead and roll the outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.